They train in the same gym, they wear the same maple leaf, they shake hands at the net, and one of them is slowly, quietly, systematically taking everything the other one built. This is not a story about two Canadian teammates cheering each other on. This is a story about a rivalry that Canadian badminton does not want to admit is happening, a power shift so sharp and so sudden that it has rewritten the entire identity of men's singles in this country in less than 12 months. Brian Yang, Victor Lai, same federation, same training hall in Markham. 18 rankings apart on the BWF World List, and the gap is getting wider every single week, in the wrong direction for one of them. Here is what we are breaking down today. The moment Yang handed Lai the tools to beat him, the head-to-head record that tells the real story, the on-court tension that nobody in Canadian badminton is naming directly, and the question that every hardcore fan already knows is coming, is Brian Yang watching his own replacement train beside him every single morning. Chapter 1. What Brian Yang built. To understand this rivalry, you have to understand what Yang actually is and what he actually achieved before Victor Lai arrived on the scene. Brian Yang is 23 years old. He represented Canada at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. He won the national championship at 18, the youngest Canadian to ever hold that title. He has competed at the Thomas Cup, the Suderman Cup, and he has beaten ranked players that most North American shuttlers never get within 3 rounds of. For years, Brian Yang was not just the top Canadian men's singles player, he was Canadian men's singles badminton, full stop. And then something happened that Yang himself did not see coming. The player training in the same facility, using the same coaching staff, watching him from the next court, started beating him. Chapter 2. The protege who became the problem. Victor Lai is 20 years old. He was born in December 2004. When Brian Yang was winning Junior Pan Am titles in 2016, Victor Lai was 11 years old. Stop. Because that age gap matters more than people realize. This is not two peers growing up together and developing a competitive edge. This is a player who was the undisputed face of Canadian badminton, watching a teenager from his own program absorb everything he had built and then use it against him. In 2023, Lai entered the Canada International Final. He lost to Yang. In 2024, he entered the Canada International Final again. He lost to Yang again, twice in the same tournament, 2 years in a row on home soil. Those results told a clean story. Yang was the ceiling. Lai had not reached it yet. But then, 2025 happened, and the ceiling did not just get raised, it moved entirely. Chapter 3. The year. The rankings flipped. In 2025, Victor Lai did something that no Canadian badminton player had ever done before him in nearly 5 decades of BWF World Championship history. He reached the semi-finals in Paris. He beat Lo Keen Yu, the 2021 world champion, in straight games. He pushed world number 1 Shi Yuki to the absolute limit before losing in 3 sets. He walked away with a bronze medal and a place in Canadian sporting history. And while all of this was happening, Brian Yang was ranked 32nd in the world. Lai had started that year ranked 50th. By the time Paris was over, Lai had climbed to 35th. Within months he was ranked 22nd. He is currently sitting at world number 13. Brian Yang is currently ranked 31st. The student is now 18 rankings above the teacher, on the same BWF World List, in the same weight class, representing the same flag. That is not a footnote. That is a power transfer. Chapter 4. The on-court tension nobody names. Here is where the conversation in Canadian badminton gets genuinely uncomfortable. Because what makes this rivalry different from every other generational shift in world badminton is the proximity. Axelsen and Li Zijia do not share a training facility. Momota and Chou Tianchen do not warm up together on adjacent courts. But Yang and Lai do. Lai himself has acknowledged it publicly. When he stepped out for his first Suderman Cup in 2025 and upset Korean veteran John Hyok-jin, he credited Yang directly, saying Yang had given him specific tips on how to handle higher-ranked opponents and how to perform without nerves as the underdog. Yang's own knowledge, Yang's own experience, transferred across a practice court and then used to fuel a rival's historic run. And then Lai beat Yang not once. On tour in 2025, his list of victories includes a win over Brian Yang, a player he trained beside, a player who gave him advice, a player who is now watching him collect BWF awards and flag bearer honors and Rising Star of the Year trophies that Yang himself was nominated for just 4 years earlier. On court, Yang is a competitor. He has not collapsed. He has not disappeared. He still represents Canada at the highest level, but the facts are the facts. Every time these two men step onto the same side of the draw, the momentum is pointing in one direction. Chapter 5. The Verdict. So what is actually happening between Brian Yang and Victor Lai? It is not a scandal. It is not a feud. There are no public confrontations, no federation drama, no locker room war. What is happening is something far more uncomfortable than that, because it is completely natural, completely inevitable, and completely impossible to stop. A generational shift is occurring inside Canadian badminton in real time, and the player on the wrong side of that shift built the very program that made it possible. Yang's presence at the top level for years gave Canadian badminton the infrastructure, the standard, and the competitive model that Lai then entered and exceeded. Yang mentored the player who is now ahead of him on the ranking list. That is not a failure. That is not a betrayal. But it is attention, and it is real. And it will define Canadian men's singles badminton for the next 3 years. Victor Lai is 20 years old and ranked 13th in the world. Brian Yang is 23 and ranked 31st. Both of them will be on the court at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Only one of them will enter as Canada's standard bearer. The question is not whether the shift has happened, it has. The question is what Brian Yang does next. Does he accept a supporting role in a program he helped build? Does he find another level that Lai has not yet reached? Or does he let the distance grow, match by match, ranking point by ranking point, until the conversation is no longer about a rivalry at all? Same court, same flag, two very different trajectories, and the most important chapter of this story has not been written yet. If this story hit differently because you already knew these names, because you have been watching this unfold in real time, and nobody in mainstream sports media was calling it what it actually is, then this channel was built specifically for you. Subscribe to Beyond the Shuttle right now. Every week we go deeper into the real stories, the ranking shifts, the on-court tensions, and the truths that the press releases will never say out loud. Hit the notification bell, share this with every serious badminton fan you know, and tell us in the comments, do you believe Brian Yang still has the level to close this gap? Or is the door already shut? The debate starts right now.